And welcome back to Play Action Fantasy Football. This is Jonathan here with you guys going over our Week 14 running back rankings. Now, before I get started, if you guys can go ahead and subscribe while you're listening, I'm sure you will not regret it. We got a lot of stuff coming out from rankings to start sits that is crucial to your playoffs. So definitely go subscribe. We got more content coming out, and I'm going to get started on that note. Number 1. We're going with Christian McCaffrey. Now, I would say out of the 14 weeks, minus his bye week, so out of the 13 weeks, we probably had him up there 10 of the 13 weeks. He's usually up there. This week is no different because he's going up against Seattle, who is number 28 against running backs in fantasy, and they are not looking good. So McCaffrey's definitely up there. He's going to be getting a lot of points. Wouldn't be surprised to see him get 2 touchdowns this week. Definitely have him up there at number 1. Number 2, I'm going to put Alvin Kamara at home against Carolina. This is another one. It's a great matchup for a great running back, and this running back is heavily used in this Saints offense. Last week, he had 50 rushing yards for 2 touchdowns and 6 catches for 58 yards. That goes to show you how multiverse he is and how he really catches and runs the ball. So Kamara easily up there at number 2. Number 3, Austin Eckler at home against Denver. Another one, great matchup, great running back. It's hard not to put him in the top 3. Eckler did have a bad week last week. However, this is going to be his bounce back week. And I think that's almost guaranteed against this Denver defense. So definitely put him there at number 3. Number 4, Jahmyr Gibbs at Chicago. We all know what Jahmyr Gibbs is capable of. He's been playing a huge role, stepped up in this Lions offense, especially as David Montgomery was injured, and it's not slowing down for him one bit. Against the shitty Chicago defense, I don't see Gibbs not putting up at least 15 to 20 points, so definitely want him in there at number 4. Number 5, I'm going to go to Saquon Barkley for the Giants. He's going to be at home against Green Bay, and Green Bay's defense has been struggling. They did beat Kansas City last week in a pretty impressive game. However, that's one game. I think Barkley is going to have a hell of a day. He is almost about to hit 1,000 scrimmage yards on the year, and he's only 135 yards away. So scrimmage meaning passing or running yards, and he's only 135 yards away. So I think the Giants are really going to push for that this week and try to get him there, and I like him there at number 5. Number 6, I'm going to Travis Etienne. He is questionable. Again, I want to remind you guys, I do record this on Monday. It's just part of the schedule. I have to record on Mondays, so we have to keep that in mind, as Etienne is questionable against the Bengals Monday night tonight, and he should be playing. We'll see. If he doesn't play, he definitely should be playing next week against Cleveland, so I am going to put him in here. And he's going to be at Cleveland, who's number 14 against running backs this year. They were doing a lot better, and they've just been on the decline, Cleveland has. So I think this is a good matchup for ETN when he comes back, and definitely is going to be catching a lot of passes, getting a lot of rushing yards against this Cleveland defense who's struggling. And I also want to kind of note here, DeAndre Swift, if you guys we're kind of wondering where's he at in this. DeAndre Swift, I did not include this week. He is questionable. We're not too sure. Again, I record on Monday. We're not too sure exactly if he is going to be ruled out next week. He was dealing with the injury he went out on Sunday with, and we really haven't got any injury updates on him. So I just want to throw that out there, that DeAndre Swift, I just didn't include him here, and you're going to have to kind of look at our start sits when they come out on Wednesday or Thursday just to see if any injury reports have been updated. Now, as far as number 7, we're going to Breece Hall. He's going to be at home against Houston. Houston has a decent defense. Breece Hall is a huge part of that the Jets offense, and I really think he's going to have a hell of a week this week against Houston. This could be a potential of having a high-scoring game with the way Houston's been playing. I know the New York Jets are not looking as hot on offense, but they do have some weapons, and Breece Hall is certainly there, always putting up those points, so put him there at number 7. Excuse me. Number 8, we're going to Javonte Williams at the Chargers. Now, this is another one this is a really good matchup for Javonte Williams. He hasn't been the hottest running back this year. I don't know if I've even put him up to number 8 yet in the rankings, but I am this week. I think Javonte Williams is on the rise as this entire offense in Denver is, and Javonte Williams is a hell of a running back. So against the Chargers, who they've been known to give up points this year, I think it's going to be a good matchup for Javonte Williams. Definitely put him there at number 8. Number 9, I'm going to go to Josh Jacobs. Now, Josh Jacobs could very well go higher than number 8 this week. He's going to be at home against Minnesota, who do have a very good defense, okay? But the thing is, Josh Jacobs, he's had at least 15 points in the last 4 of his 5 games. And he's had multiple ones where they're over 20 points. I believe he's had a couple that were 25. So he's definitely putting up a lot of points in this Vegas offense that really is struggling and don't have a lot of other options to go to. Number 10, we're going to Isaiah Pacheco at home against Buffalo. Buffalo is number 20 against running backs fantasy-wise, and Pacheco is definitely a very talented running back. The Chiefs' offense has not been playing up to their par where they usually have been playing, so that's hurt Pacheco quite a bit. But last week, Pacheco had 110 rushing yards and a rushing touchdown, 3 receptions for 13 yards, and that was last week against Green Bay. And so I think against Buffalo at home now, it's going to be even better week for him. So look for Pacheco to get at least 15 points, put a lot of points up there for you in fantasy. Number 11, I'm going to go to Rachaad White at Atlanta. Now, Atlanta's number 1, and by far, they're number 1 against running backs in fantasy. They've been playing great. However, Rachaad White, he's been playing in the top 10 fantasy running backs. He's been a huge part of this Tampa Bay offense as Baker Mayfield started off hot, starting to struggle, but Rachaad White catches so many of those balls. I think he averages 3 or 4 catches a game, and he's really been playing his part this year. So I'm going to have to put him there up at number 11. The last 7 games, just a fun fact, last 7 games, he's had at least 15 points as well, which that's a very outstanding number for the last 7 games. He's had at least 15 points. To me, that's McCaffrey, Kamara, Eckler numbers. So I got to really like that. Put him there at number 11. Number 12, we're going to Tony Pollard at home against Philadelphia. This is another one. Philadelphia is number 2, right behind Atlanta for rushing against running backs in fantasy. Pollard last week, though, he had a good game. He had 68 yards, 1 touchdown, nothing too crazy. However, it's proven that even against a good defense, he could still put up points, and I think that's going to continue against Philadelphia. I wouldn't expect him to have a 25, 30-point game, but definitely a solid 15 to 20-point game. Number 13, we're going to Raheem Mostert at home against Tennessee. Tennessee's got a decent defense, but this Miami offense is something else, and Mostert's ahead of it. I know Achan's getting a lot of carries now with him being back, so it certainly hurts Mostert. I usually would have Mostert a little bit higher, but he's going to be there at number 13 this week with Achan back. Number 14, I'm going to Devin Singletary at the New York Jets. The New York Jets like to give up points to running backs, and Singletary has been tearing stuff up lately, and I think this is a great matchup for him. C.J. Stroud will be dumping the ball off to him quite a bit, and because the New York Jets do have a decent secondary, which will lead to a lot of dump-off passes for Singletary out of the backfield. So Singletary there at number 14. Number 15, I'm going back to Miami. We're going to welcome to Miami. Achan at home against Tennessee. Tennessee, once again, has good defense, but Achan is being a very critical part of this powerful Miami offense. So definitely put Achan up there at number 15. He will be getting a lot of points. Number 16, Bijan Robinson at home against Tampa Bay. Now, Bijan's been very up and down this year, his rookie season, but he's been one of the better running backs, younger running backs, I should say. And he's going to be at home against Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay has a good defense, so I don't expect too much from Bijan. However, he's still a critical part in this offense, very talented running back, so he's definitely getting points. Number 17, we're going to Kyren Williams at Baltimore. Kyren Williams has a lot of potential. He's a very fast, got a good vision kind of runner, but he's going to be at Baltimore this week. Baltimore has a very good defense in Baltimore as well, so I don't see it going completely Kyren Williams' way this week, but he's definitely going to still have a good amount of points, maybe 10 to 15 points. Number 18, we're going to Ezekiel Elliott. I don't know if he's been on our top 25 yet. He's definitely been in our start sits, but I don't think he's been in our top 25. He's going to be at Pittsburgh this week. Pittsburgh has a pretty good defense. However, Elliott's coming in there for Ramondre Stevenson, who plays a huge role in that New England offense, and Elliott's going to be able to fill that in just fine, I think. So 18 there at Elliott. He's going to be getting points. Try to get him in your lineup this week. Number 19, we're going to James Cook at Kansas City. James Cook, I think he might be the most inconsistent running back all year. He's going to be at Kansas City, which is a tough matchup. I don't like his odds this week, but James Cook still has a lot of potential with Josh Allen there and him dumping the ball off. James Cook is an elusive player, so he's certainly going to get some points. So I'm going to have to put him down there at number 19, which brings me to number 20. This is the lowest this guy's been ranked all year, and it's going to be Derrick Henry. He is questionable / probable. I like to say it's looking like he will be playing, so there's not too much of a question there. But he's going to be at Miami this week, and Miami's one of the best against the run. They're a very good defense, and Tennessee's offense just is not in a great flow. Derrick Henry's not having his best year. He had a good game last week, but we will see if that continues against Miami. He is King Henry. He is guaranteed to put up some points, but I would not expect a shit ton of points from him this week at Miami. Number 21, we're going to Chuba Hubbard. I didn't know that's how you say his name till this week. I've been saying Chuba Hubbard. It's Chuba Hubbard. There's only one B. So Chuba Hubbard at New Orleans. New Orleans has a very good defense. So I'm not a big fan of his matchup this week. However, I do think he's still a good portion of this offense. He still puts up points, and if they're in the red zone, he's definitely a good option. So I'm going to have to put Hubbard there at number 21. And number 22, we're going to Alexander Mattison. He's been dealing with injuries the past few weeks. They've had Ty Chandler in there and some other guys, but he's going to be at Las Vegas, who's number 27 against running backs in fantasy. So it's a great matchup for Alexander Mattison and the Minnesota Vikings as far as running backs go. And I think Madison's going to take advantage of that. He's a very good running back. Josh Dobbs is going to lean on him a little bit more as he's coming back and is in more healthy shape. So Madison is a solid there at number 22. Which brings me to number 23, Jerome Ford at home against Jacksonville. The Browns, who knows what their offense is going to. They got Joe Flacco in there now, who threw for over 40 passing attempts last week, which is pretty asinine for the Browns. So I got to say Ford's usage might go down a little bit, or the Browns might readjust and get Ford back involved. So I do like Ford there at number 23. He caught a pass for a touchdown last week. He's certainly a good catcher out in the field. So against Jacksonville, which is a very mid defense, it's a good matchup for Ford. So I got to put him there at number 23. And last but not least, 24 and 25. I'm going to do these as a little combo as they both are Pittsburgh Steelers running backs. Najee Harris, Jaylen Warren. They're going to be at home against New England. New England has a very mid defense against running backs, number 16. And so it's going to be a tough one. I think Najee Harris and Jaylen Warren are going to get very, very similar points as they have all year. Najee Harris gets a lot more of those rushing yards. Warren sometimes gets those rushing yards, but he gets a lot of the passing yards. And they both of them have an equal opportunity to get in the end zone. So they really either or can't go wrong with either of them. They're both going to be putting at minimum 10 points up. So I'm going to put both of those guys there at number 24 and 25. And I hope you guys enjoyed that. That was our Week 14 running back rankings. I certainly had fun doing that this week. And why don't you guys go subscribe. Let me know what you guys think. Go comment if you guys agree, disagree, whatever you may think. Just let me know. We want to hear you guys. We want to be interactive. And, so have a great weekend.